As part of his sweeping policy extravaganza, the arch-mean of Oxford University, FPS Doug, took a controversial position on gender inclusivity and safety on campus, one that some would later claim was taken out of context by bad actors to incite unrest. He said, "What can I say? There's nothing like the rush of hunting people down and killing them. I mean, my heart's beating, my hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting, and I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot." Elspeth Teller, the head of the Gender Studies Department, worked closely with her peers to determine how to best act on this. Teller, renowned for her women-first, gender-critical beliefs, was often referred to by the moniker AstroTurf because she was a psychotic bigot who walked around in a 1950s-style fishbowl helmet, and because she could possess the bodies of trans people, or any people, by infecting them with a parasite that she had brought home from a space mission. At this moment in history, Elspeth's team needed a W, whereas more ambitious humanities departments like the tenured grave robbers in archaeology were known for stealing tangible cultural resources, the Gender Studies Department at Oxford was seen by many citation-needed weasel words as nothing but a safe house for petty spotlight thieves who made inept attempts to Ocean's 11 the public eye whenever possible. These constant attention heists were rarely successful and led to criticism from scornful STEM academics, the loudest of whom was Chief Tinkerer Roberta K. Rat, nom de guerre Mousetrap, a trans woman and member of the order Rodentia with everything to prove. Rat was cautiously optimistic about the statement, her words, and encouraged her colleagues to deploy informational countermeasures and bring von Neumann constructor levels to full strength in order to quickly spool up laboratory production. Definitely not her words.
The stage was set for a showdown.
And when I say that, I say it in the Soul Caliber announcer's voice. Mere days after the statement, AstroTurf played her opening. The front page of the Gooniversity Times, a newspaper that spun rapidly into view and never stopped spinning, read, "Arch-mean declares war on pedosexual autogynephiles. This is because AstroTurf, through parasitosis enabled by lax quarantine measures, literally controlled the student body and its feelings and actions, and by extension its student press. Obviously, most tenured staff who lived on the hill far above campus housing had managed to avoid infection. Violence against trans femmes increased 1,400% within 2 days of the headline, an alarming statistic that made certain watchdogs, Cerberus et al., say, "Awooga!" while their eyes popped out of their heads. Turfs quickly pointed out that the wave of destruction was apparently self-inflicted, citing overwhelming medical evidence. "Technically, this is true," said an infected trans woman as she perched atop a sculpture of Sheila Jeffries to await predation by the turf-banged twitterwing, a large invasive bird of prey. But the forces of science and reason were not to be outdone. They quickly picked up on statistics from the underworld's chief of logistics that said, in layman's terms, since I don't have the degrees, Masonic or otherwise, to read the data, guys, hell is almost full. This, they established, could be weaponized. STEM faculty designed a disease that rapidly killed gender-critical feminists and occasionally, for unknown reasons, the homeless, hoping to counter AstroTurf's philosophical zombies by unleashing a torrent of science-based undead. The infection vector was Engagicus maliferinum, a symbiotic brainworm native to the social media realm that happened to be most common among people who hated men in dresses or whatever. The normal life cycle of E. melliferinum allowed for dopamine release whenever negative feelings were engaged with inside SOCMED echo chambers, as explained through animated pictograms by Mousetrap. The various traps of negative engagement on these platforms were seeded with modified worms designed to kill those who dared taste the sweet nectary hate bait, punishing bad takes with death. As armies of dwarf-like women with bobs jackhammered like on J.K. Rowling's latest Not Our Crimes wall, they were in fact digging too deep, unaware of the lethal entities that dwelled just beyond that coveted threshold of virality. Thousands died for argument's sake, and the national press asked, for God's sake, how much is too much, and eventually hell itself overflowed. Unfortunately, as is too often the case, the scientists had acted without asking, should we? Or even, what are the consequences of this? I mean, actually, they had pretty much acted with complete detached insanity, not even answering the basic questions of, can we control these zombies? Or, why exactly are we doing this? As scandals took a bite out of Mousetrap's H-index, and the frothing dead took several bites out of AstroTurf's AstroTurfed base, the two enemies agreed to put aside their feud for the good of the human race. Or, as the Gooniversity Times put it, the good of the human wraiths, since 90% of all people on Earth were now zombies of some kind. Oxford hosted a debate between the two intellectual giants, hoping for one last clout hurrah. But how? The marketing madmen sponsoring the event mused, can we go biggest? Advertising and TV ratings on folks became obsessed with the so-called last real niggers on the planet demographic that encompassed people from Madagascar, a country that had gone relatively untouched by parasites and undeath because of the fact that all the author knows about Madagascar is informed by the Newgrounds.com flash game pandemic. As the debate dragged on and words did the twist and tempers flared like white phosphorus weapons, and the moderators asked the esteemed guests questions of mice and men, something weird happened. Nobody really gave a shit. 0% viewership. Total flop. Mostly the people of Madagascar were doing Madagascar things and didn't give a damn what two shithead Western scholar sociopaths who almost blew up the world were crooning about. The president of the small island nation didn't even have to say shut down everything. Boom! Headshot! FPS Doug shouted, standing behind his own dead body as a ghost after an harrowing with a shotgun. Free from the shackles of academic life, he could dance all day. And he did.
No methodol skiddly-gee, bap-a-day, chronody-top, boppity-graphing, cindy-die, chronic Scooby-Doo, spatty-doo-wah, tempo-diddle-ow, zip, zamp, zippity, play. Cat-a-doo, gordy, liddly, zam, zip, zoop, bop, her.